Thanks for being with me today. I'm Lorenzo and I'm going to show you around TeamsMetrics. Today's question is another one that is very common and that a lot of people ask. That is, why are my agents answering so slowly? We're going to build on a dataset that we already seen in a previous tutorial. So I'll start from an existing report. I'll show you this. In a previous report, we've seen that this lost calls was showing a large number of calls that were unanswered. So we were able to diagnose that an issue was that agents were not staffed, so there were a lot of lost calls exactly during the middle of the day. So there was definitely an issue with staffing. But again, we wonder if our agents, from what we saw here, they were not especially busy, because on this queue all of them were working like 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. So it was not much actually. So we want to understand a bit more if there is something better we can do here. To do this, the first thing we do is we clone this existing report. So if we make changes, no issues. So lost calls extended, we call it so. Okay. And then we start by looking at lost attempts. What are lost attempts? You know that when the ACD wants to connect a call to one agent, the ACD is sending the call to this agent. So there are two chances. If you see that your calls are being processed slowly from the point of view of the caller, there are two reasons why. The first is that the ACD is not sending calls to the agents because they are busy. So if they are busy all of the time, basically the ACD is not even trying. In this case, we're going to have a high wait time, a large number of lost calls, but agents will have no lost calls themselves. On the other hand, the more common scenario is that your agents are not that busy, but they're basically not picking up the call for different reasons. This is something that you have to investigate yourself. But basically, the phone is ringing, but nobody's picking up. How can we tell if this is the case and what is happening here? So we create a new page. We call why lost. Okay. So the first thing we do is we had 3 data blocks that we care about. The first is a data block that shows lost attempts, 8003. That basically shows all the calls that were taken and all the calls that were lost after being addressed to one terminal, one person. So as we can see, this guy has 21 calls taken and 30 calls lost. So he's a good start to investigate and see what actually happened. The other thing, in order to do this, we will add a call distribution that is the same that we already have on this data block. It is an hourly distribution, so we can see basically what happens during the day, and we'll see later how we use it. And a data block that basically is showing us what the agent was doing. That is that I'm showing you. That is EG04. Okay. So basically, for these agents, we're going to see general information about their call time, how many calls they got, the average wait time of all the things. And if we click on the agent, we're going to see the details of the queues and of all the calls that were handled during these queues. Okay, so we know that this agent was not especially busy because out of one day he worked for like 50 minutes, 1 hour, let's say. So what could have been happening here? To do this, what we do is we add all of the queues, because it's likely that they are working on a different queue as well. It's possible at least. So it could be a queue, or could be a direct call, or could be group calls, that is conferences, or it could be outbound calls. Let's see if any of these things click. We apply. go in. Okay, now Billy, we can see a general report, got 54 calls over in his activity over all of the queues he's busy on, but still it's 2 hours and a half, so it's not terribly, it's not so much, let's say. If we click on the details, we can see that they were working on this Mitchell, and then on outbound, and then on another queue called sales. So we see that this person was not, where we were looking at one single queue, we were not looking at the whole picture. Let's see if we can get some more information about what happened here. To do this, we can do two things. The first is have a look at what the agent himself was doing. That is, to do this, we just select the agent. Billy Garcia is the first one. Okay, let's have a look during his work day what happened. So basically, he took a good number of calls in the morning, then a bit less during the middle of the day, and then he was working a lot at around 1 p.m. and then a lot at around 4 p.m. So that's what this person was actually doing. On the other hand, what we can do is go select all the agents on all the queues, but finding calls that were lost by this specific agent. Why do we do this differently? Because if a call is taken by an agent or originated by an agent, what we see is that the call belongs to them. If not, these calls where the agent was tried but didn't reach this specific agent when they were tried, they could end up being actually assigned to the same agent after a while, because the system tries again, maybe in 5 minutes, and then the agent is going to pick up, or they're going to be picked up by somebody else, or they're going to be picked up by nobody. What we want to do is the distribution of these calls. We can see that a lot of these calls happen between 2 and 4 p.m. basically, and so we can see that basically the majority of the calls for this agent were between 2 and 4 p.m. What we want to understand, so we remember that at 2 p.m. they were not working, that they were not doing a lot. So if we put in a filter for Billy, okay, they were not especially busy. So it's possible that there were two things here. The first is that the agent was physically not there, so it's they had a lot of attempts because they were not manning the phone. Maybe they went for lunch because they were available at 1 p.m. and maybe at 2 p.m. they left for some reason. So they just thinking that in any case somebody else would pick up the same calls. The other thing that could be is that the agent was present but doing something else. So let's see if we can do this. Let's try removing. Okay. These are just outbound calls, and what we see is that at 2 p.m. this agent was doing outbound. So by doing outbound, they were basically available on the queue, so the queue was trying them, but they were not picking up the phone because they were doing something else. What this means in practice is that this agent was working. They were not working so much, but they were doing outbound at a time where they should have been doing inbound. And so this is a staffing issue. So by correcting this staffing issue, so telling them you do outbound later or earlier or at some other time, you're able to avoid these problems and make sure that your calls are processed more swiftly. So I hope this is an example that could be useful to you in your real life, because tracking lost attempts is really important, because this is the way you keep tab on what the actual agents are actually doing. And remember that if you think this could be useful, you may want to run a free test of TeamsMetrics Live for Teams, that is TeamsMetrics, with no obligation at all, and try this on your own data and see if this is useful in your own use case. Thank you.